do you want to be remembered? And I thought his answer, of course, was just perfect. He goes, I want to be remembered as being a good teammate, respected by all the coaches and my peers. I want everybody to know I love the game of football.
And the Denver Broncos have taken Super Bowl 50.
Beer, Broncos, and
Hello
no BS.
again, Broncos country.
Welcome
Really
to
excited
Beer,
to chop up some Broncos.
Orange Weekly. No politics, just football. Orange Weekly. No politics, just football.
I've been rockin' on since an early age. Now since 9-7, I ain't miss a game. Came up with TD and Rod Smith. I was riding with the team when they got the chip. Before the Chevrolets and the Lobster. I remember Elway's helicopter. I remember. I'm telling you, that man was a monster. Way before he had his hands on the roster. Way before. He turned the Broncos to a powerhouse. So you know I got a shout out to Johnny. Elway, he important, man. He the reason that I'm always rockin' on his man. Always gotta rock orange, that's just how
Let's see. Jason says it'll take a quadruple to talk Broncos this year. Yeah, well, I mean, do whatever you got to do, man. So I got my bourbon right here because, yep, I'm right there with you. Travis, he says first. He's the first one to comment. So thanks again for Travis for being here. Says, is Von Miller going to be okay? And so, Dave, before we kind of get more Von Miller kind of general stuff, guys, I don't know specifically what's going on other than he did have an MRI on his knee yesterday. didn't seem too serious. There hasn't been any major. Doesn't seem like there's any super concern from the coaching staff or anything, or from the media, because that would have been blown way out of proportion if there was some big chance or some chance that he wasn't going to be able to be here. But David, with Von Miller, what have you seen from him this year? And I mean, do you think he's been doing okay? Do you think he's been doing average, or what do you expect from him going forward as well?
I mean, I think he's doing okay. I think we got used to Von Miller.
Oh, hey, David. Hey, if you guys are watching, it looks like our broadcast was interrupted. We're going to restart here and bring it right back. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, David, looks like the broadcast was interrupted for some reason. So,
okay.
I'm going to have to...
I thought his answer, of course, was just perfect. He goes, I want to be remembered as being a good teammate, respected by all the coaches and my peers.
For some reason.
I want everybody to know I love the game of football.
And the Denver Broncos have taken Super Bowl 50.
Beer, Broncos, and
Hello
no BS.
again, Broncos country.
Welcome
Really
to
excited
Beer,
to chop up some
Broncos,
Broncos.
Orange Weekly. No politics, just football.
What's up, Broncos country? Kev Dan here again for another episode of Bourbon, Broncos, and OBS. Sorry for the broadcast interruption, guys. If you were watching before, technical difficulties doing this live. Sometimes that happens. But if you're back, appreciate you guys watching. We already got Bless and Ryan up in here. Ryan thinks that it's the beard that's causing the interruption, as well as me moving. Maybe. But it is, we're going to call it Beard, Bourbon, Broncos, and a lot of BS is what Ryan says. But yeah, guys, if you are watching this for the first time, thanks for joining us here today. Grab that drink, bourbon, booze, beer, whiskey, vodka, whatever you need to talk Broncos football, and post those comments and questions. Be happy to hear what you guys have to say today, as usual. For the second time, actually, David, maybe it's the third time since our broadcast was interrupted. Third time you're here on the show. How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing?
Well, as long as it doesn't kick me off again, I'll be doing okay.
Right. Yeah. Survived the snowstorm, I hope.
Yeah, I mean, can't complain. I love the snow. I've missed it for 8 years. So,
Yeah.
I have seen a lot of commercials of, obviously with Thanksgiving coming up, turkeys and whatnot. And I keep getting confused. I think they're showing the Broncos, and I realize that it's turkeys. So, I can't keep them straight. Sorry, I love the Broncos. I just got to throw that one out there. That's my joke for tonight, guys. And if you know, I'm not Raymond has all the jokes, but not necessarily me. So let's get right into it. David, we got the first question that I think we knew we were going to get asked. Gut thoughts on starting Drew Lock. So David, still don't know if Drew Lock is going to start yet or not. Probably find that out tomorrow during Coach Fangio's press conference. But what are your thoughts on just?
I don't understand, what the delay is here in making an announcement, whether they're going to activate him, if he's going to be a backup, if he's going to get a chance to start, or what's going on. So, not really sure.
Yeah, I mean, from my point of view, guys, and if you haven't heard this yet. I'm of the assumption and the feeling, my gut feeling, is that if we were serious about Drew Lock, we would have activated him a while ago. Now, I understand the argument that, well, we won that one game with Brandon Allen, let's keep this up and maybe we can, win a bunch more games or something. But I think it's proven that that is way behind us and that this is the time to start him. And if you ask me, David, if we don't start him this week, this just kind of, in my mind, solidifies the idea that we're not serious about him being our quarterback of the future.
Right. And I'm going to have to agree with that. I heard something today that 70% of the coaching staff wants Drew Lock as the backup, and 30% don't even want him as the backup. So nobody wants him as a starter right now, and I'm not sure what the issue is, with the coaching staff. And if he's not ready, then stop playing the games. Just come out and say, Drew Lock is not ready. We're not going to play him. Maybe later in the season, maybe week 16 and 17, maybe we'll give him a shot. But I just don't understand why it seems to be so secret on whether they're going to activate Drew Lock or whatever. I mean, we're looking at Tuesday already.
Mm-hmm.
You would think today they would have come out, and I know the weather probably hampered a lot of things, but, with technology these days, they could come out and they could say, you know what, hey, we're going to go ahead and we're going to
and I think
have to commit to saying he's a starter or backup or anything yet, but at least activate the guy, and then, throughout the week, then they can let us know, hey, either he's going to start or Brandon Allen's going to start and Drew Lock will be the backup over Rippon. But
right.
I'm not sure what's going on down there at the UC Health Center right now. So,
well, Joseph even says there seems to be a true disconnect between players and coaching. Denver was totally irrelevant on through phases of the game. Let's talk about this. So, I mean, that kind of ties into the Drew Lock thing really quickly in that there is a disconnect. I don't know what it is, but there's something going on that things just aren't clicking yet. And, it could be, first-time head coach, first-time offensive coordinator. We really don't have a quarterback. And if you ask me, this is what pro football looks like when you don't have a quarterback. And I think there's so many things going against them right now that it's tough to get people on the same page. But yeah, we'll come back to Drew Lock in a little bit, I'm sure, but let's move back just a little bit, guys, and kind of rehash this last week's game. And of course, if you want to hear a more in-depth discussion on this, you can check out our post-game podcast on Spotify, iTunes, or whatever your favorite podcast station is. You can check it out there. But the Broncos, so before this game, we heard that Brandon Allen was giving the offense a spark that only he could provide. Right. And then that not only was that spark not there, I don't know if the wind in Buffalo blew it out or what, but this looked like I almost would rather have Joe Flacco out there. Just to get something going. But the fact that I just saw a report by ESPN. The last 5 times the Broncos had the ball at the end of the game, we all know that we went 3 and out on each one of those. ESPN calculated that we were averaging 4.8 inches per play. I don't know, David. I don't know how you get worse than that.
I'm not sure, and Brandon Allen, I don't know if he lacks the arm strength to throw the ball in the wind like that. He was 10 for 25 for 82 yards, which equates that is not the recipe for success in the NFL. And I don't understand what we're doing with some of these calls. We're throwing screen passes or behind the line scrimmage to Fant. We got faster guys on the team. If you're going to do those bubble screens and stuff like that, where's our faster guys? Yeah, put Lindsey out there, but Noah Fant just doesn't seem to have the speed or the breakaway ability, to be running bubble screens and things like that. Just like the week before when they were running these jet sweeps with the tight end. I'm just confused as to what's going on with some of the play calling. And we just couldn't get anything going Sunday against the Bills. You know,
I mean,
and it seemed like when we did, we were getting stupid penalties, and I blame penalties on lack of discipline.
yep.
You know, and lack of discipline starts with the coaching staff and works its way down in sports. And I don't know what's going on now. I don't know if some of these players on this team have finally checked out. I mean, Dalton Reisner has had back-to-back subpar games, in my opinion. You know,
And I mean, Dalton Reisner is the core of the offensive line, if you ask me. I mean, he has potential, but yeah, it's the offensive line and just these dumb penalties. Like nothing's going right. If you ask me, we have not been able to do screenplays since preseason. I mean, even in preseason, they never work. So I don't know why at this point we're trying to call multiple a game when they are still, for some reason, this team cannot do a screenplay. They cannot pull it off. And then, you know, yeah, maybe it is the arm strength of Brandon Allen that was screwing up the pass game. But I really can't believe that too much because he's been a backup in the NFL for 4 years. 4 years of chances to learn how to throw into and with the wind. And, you know, I know he doesn't get a ton,
Right.
he doesn't get reps, but it was embarrassing.
it was embarrassing. And I don't even know what to say. I'm sort of at a loss for words for it. I haven't seen quarterback play like that in I don't know how long since I've seen a quarterback put up a performance that bad. Yeah, and I'm not going to blame all of it 100% on Allen. He didn't have a lot of protection. But I did notice that there were times when he seemed to be locking in on a primary receiver.
Not making his
he
reads.
wasn't going through he wasn't going through his progressions.
Yep.
You know, he would just come up to the line. He knew where he wanted to go, and that was it. And, I mean, it led to throwing balls into double coverage, you know, things like that. I think there could have been a few other balls that could have been intercepted as well. So we got a little lucky in that aspect. But I think he digressed from the Minnesota game, and I don't know if that second half of that Minnesota game just was a kick to the gut to this whole team. Because even our run defense that has been for the last 6 weeks has just been spot on. I mean, we got tore up by Buffalo.
Yep.
I mean, I think they may have finished close to 200 yards of rushing.
I think it was. Yeah, it was something like that. I mean, they had 430 plus yards total offense compared to our 130 something, which is, I mean, it's atrocious to begin with.
Yeah, I was reading something earlier. They said that is the 5th worst offensive output in Denver Bronco history. So, I mean, that's how bad it is.
And Joseph was at the game, and Joseph, thanks for watching, man. He says wind was not a factor. He was there. And yeah, they had 270 rush yards. So Joseph's doing a good job fact checking us. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah,
because I don't have a producer. I don't have all these facts right in front of me, unfortunately.
Right. So,
Andrew, so here's a comment on both things that we have right now. Daniel's asking, should we expect Vic Fangio to be fired come the end of the season if we don't win more games? And he wants to know who we think the next head coach would be. But then also Andrew says VJ got 2 years. What does Fangio have to do to get to have a third year? And so first off, and I think we kind of all agree about this here at Orange Weekly that of course Fangio is going to get a second season, but I just think that I like Fangio. I think he has the potential to be a really good head coach, but it takes a couple years for them to develop that. And I know VJ only got 2 years, but I mean, he was just absolutely destroying the Broncos and the morale and what we stood for. And now Vic Fangio is trying to build that back up. So if you ask me, David, he's going to get at least 3 years because we've had so much coaching turnover that we have to find some sort of continuity there.
I agree. I mean, we have to give the guy a chance. I mean, we can't after 1 year say, you know what, we made a mistake. Like you said, we need to have some continuity. I mean, 3 years. I mean, and everybody needs to remember that this team is nowhere close to being a win now team, as some people down at UC Health Center has tried to convince us that we're in a rebuilding mode. Mm-hmm. and that even means our coaching staff. I mean, we're rebuilding it. Who knows? I mean, does Scangarella get another year? I don't know. And I think that's a discussion. But I think when you have a year this bad, there's always going to be some fallout. And where's it start? I mean, Scangarella, I don't know. The defense has played well. I mean, except for last week. I mean, they just looked out of sorts last week. People did not look like they were really up to playing. I see that Andrew here said Harris's play down the stretch here reminds me of Talib's last year in Denver. And I've seen it too. I mean, Harris got burned bad on one play,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not Harris.
No.
So it takes me back to Harris's comment at the beginning of the season of, I only got so many weeks left here.
Yep.
And then he tried to backpedal, and do some damage control. But is he really in that mindset? I hope not. I like Harris. I think Harris is good. And with as young as our secondary is getting, we need a veteran presence like Harris back there. The thing is, did we burn our bridges with him, when we wouldn't renegotiate a contract with him? So
And even if he was in that mindset, I mean, he wants to get paid big money next year. So he has a reason to still show off. But not only does it remind me of Talib, it reminds me of Champ Bailey's last couple of years. And I love both Talib and Champ Bailey, but they just got to the point where they couldn't keep up and they kept getting burned. I mean, I just remember watching that playoff game against the Ravens that we lost. I think it was Peyton Manning's first year there. Champ Bailey just got beat 2 or 3 times bad. He's just getting to that point in his career where he's getting older and he can't keep up with the brand new super young guys that are top notch wide receivers, and that's how it goes. But he's definitely not going to be here next year. Maybe not so much for the money, but because we got to find somebody else that's not going to get burned like he is.
No, I agree, and I don't expect him to come back. I don't think that Chris Harris wants to come back here. I mean, I know he said it throughout the season that he wants to, but I think he's just trying to keep a positive attitude throughout the season. But I don't expect him to be on this roster next year. So Denver probably be searching in the free agent market, for another cornerback this offseason, and maybe even using a first-round pick to go after a stud cornerback coming out of the draft. Who knows? Yep. So that's another reason why you need to play Drew Lock now, because you need to decide whether you need to go quarterback shopping or if you can shop somewhere else. So
exactly. I mean, even if we see him play for 5 weeks and we can at least sit there and say, yeah, now we know that this is not our guy. But I still, and this whole conversation could change completely based off what we hear tomorrow, if he starts or not. But I mean, unless he really shows solid progression every week, I mean, I'm thinking that even in the draft, because right now, guys, after this last week's game, we're sitting in the number 5 draft pick if the season were to end today. With the number of really good or very promising quarterbacks in the draft, we're still going to get another quarterback. You can't pass up on that opportunity. And so it's interesting to see, are we getting Drew Lock the experience so that he could be with us, or is it so we can show the rest of the NFL the potential he has and use him as trade bait?
Yeah, and that may be something, you let him play, and if he does well, but you still think he's not the quarterback for our system, then one, we either may need to make a decision. We're going to stick with our system and we're going to get a quarterback in here who can play to that system, or we're going to build a system around our quarterback, sort of like Baltimore has done with Lamar Jackson.
And I think that's the biggest problem is, maybe it's because the coaches are inexperienced, but they've got to look around and see why some of these young quarterbacks are working out so well. And it's for that point exactly. You take a quarterback and you keep your system as the offensive coordinator, but you tweak it and you modify it to that quarterback's strength. So they feel natural. They feel comfortable with that playbook and with those plays and being in those situations. So thinking that we're going to grab a quarterback in any draft, in any year, plug him into this system and not modify it for him and just, this is Scangarello's system, this is what he's going to do, and this is that. There's very, very, very little chance that any quarterback is going to develop under that. You've got to find a way to incorporate your system to make them feel comfortable.
Right, and there's not a lot of colleges that are running the type of offense that we run. You know, most of them run a spread offense that doesn't really translate well to the pros. You know, I would say the closest that I've seen to a pro style offense is what LSU is running down there, because they adopted the Saints offense. You know, brought in their one of their offensive gurus and brought them in and tweaked their offense for that. You know, but a lot of these other quarterbacks, I mean, one of the things about Drew Lock that everyone's complaining about, the guy never played under center. He started 4 years at Missouri, and they ran everything out of the shotgun. Okay, well, adapt our system to do that. If that's where Drew Lock is comfortable, then you need to change your system. You can still run our system. You know, you just change it a little where we're running 90% of our plays out of shotgun, you know. And I don't know if the coaches just don't want to change the system, or what. Is Scangarello so young at being a coordinator that he just really can't make those adjustments to, you know, change our system to fit the needs of the strengths of our quarterbacks.
Let's move on past this really quickly. Let's see. Dylan says Fangio's in the problem. We have a first-year offensive coordinator that works with a statue, now a first-time starter. So yeah, we'll give him some. He's probably gonna be back next year, but if this is the same problem next year, I can't see him sticking around. Let's see. Joseph says, well, first off, Andrew says, what is our system? That's a good question, because it doesn't seem to be working. You know, I don't know if
it's not. It's a hybrid of some kind of West Coast system that, you know, and I don't think it is working right now, because I don't think we have the players to fit the system the way it's set up to run.
Yep.
Andrew even said, you know, it appears our system only works when Jano's in the lineup. And that is a good point. That is a key position in this system, is a fullback, you know, and a good fullback. So, but I do believe that that we do. Michael here says teams miss more than on the O line than at QB, you know. And we may have with free agent signings and everything else. I mean, we got Juwan James again. Who is he going to play? You know,
not this year.
They say, well, he's healthy, but now he has to get mentally ready. You know, I mean, the guy's been in the league for how long? He should already know how to be mentally and emotionally ready to go out there and play football. So, and if as much money as you're making, if you're not motivated to get out there and play football, you know, sayonara.
Yep. Red Cloud, how you doing? One of our big fans, along with man, we got a ton of you guys in here tonight. Red Cloud says, didn't we pick a DB up off of waivers? We did. I can't remember his name. If one of you guys wants to look that one up for me. But yeah, we picked him off the waivers from the Colts. I'm not sure what kind of impact, if any, he's going to have this week. He might just be there for depth, to be out there for a couple plays. But really, when you're picking players up off of waivers like that end of the season, it's more for depth at the most.
I think it was a reaction to Dawson, you know, and his concussion. So, and it is Taylor from that was from the Colts who we picked up. So I don't know how much playing time he gets or what, if he's just there for emergency purposes, you know, to step in case somebody else goes down. But our secondary's been pretty beat up this season as well. Yeah. So we've lost some decent players back there. So I'm just trying to put the thing together. So.
See, Paul says if the Broncos don't play a lock, then I'm boycotting the games. And that's, you know what? I think we're all sitting here saying we got him in the second round. Why are we not playing him right now? But while that'd be very upsetting if we don't play him, I think that you guys should still watch because I mean that all that's doing is telling you, the fan, how serious or not we are about Drew Lock. End of story. So Drew Lock goes out there and starts playing. We're not going to win the next 5 games necessarily. I mean, yeah, if you're a betting person and you want to make a very risky bet, go for that one. But it doesn't necessarily mean anything. And he's still going to make those rookie mistakes. It's going to be a lot of growing pains. And look, if you ask me, we're not, as of right now, where I'm sitting right now, not having any inside sources or anything, because we're not at that level yet, David. Maybe in a couple of years, but we're gonna draft a quarterback the first round next year, and that's going to be the guy that we start in the season.
I sort of agree with you. I think something happened in, from the time that Drew Lock was injured until now, where either one, he hasn't progressed with learning the playbook. He's been doing a lot of virtual reality stuff. So not sure if he's just not progressing there, if they're having issues. But you know what? And I guess it's a selfish thing as fans. We sit there and say, we need to see him out there so we know what we have. Well, unfortunately, the Broncos may already know what we have, and I think they're ready to move on from him. I honestly think they will activate him this week. He may be the backup for Brandon Allen. And if Brandon Allen goes out there and has another performance like he did Sunday at Buffalo, then maybe he gets the hook and Drew Lock comes in. And then we'll see what he can do, and maybe the rest of the season. And maybe, who knows, when he gets in real game situations, maybe he does a little better than what the coaches are thinking. But, these guys see him every day. They see him, they're with him. They apparently know what's going on. And like I said earlier, 70% of the coaches want him as the backup. 30% don't even want him as the backup. And so that's basically 0% want him as the starter. So that says that, something's going on, that the coaches know that, they're just not letting the public know.
Right. So we'll see, guys. We'll see what happens tomorrow. And of course, this whole conversation could be vastly outdated by tomorrow afternoon. There are Dylan and people are talking about potential people to draft quarterback wise. And guys, I want to hold off on that because once we get closer to the end of the season, we know where we're sitting in the draft spot. We're definitely going to break that down a whole lot more for you guys. And since we are kind of coming up to the last quarter of the season, guys, remember, we're going to be here throughout the off season as well. Not every week necessarily, but we'll do stuff during free agency. We'll have a Super Bowl show. We're gonna have a draft pre-show and a pre-draft and post-draft podcast, a draft show. We're gonna have all that, guys, covered for you during the off season as well. So just because the season ends for the Broncos, we're not as busy over here, but we still got you guys covered. So don't forget about us during the off season. Now here's an interesting one. Andrew's asking, do you guys feel that Lindsey hits holes too fast, almost always gets positive yards, but just wondering if he'd be even more better, if he'd be better as a more patient runner. So what's your take on Lindsey? And are there things that he can still improve on going into his third year?
Oh, I think so. I think if you sat down and you asked Philip Lindsay, he would say, I could definitely improve. And I think that's the kind of work ethic he has, is he goes out there and tries to improve
exactly
all the time. I do like Lindsey because that's the kind of back Lindsey is. Lindsey is a cut back in one hole kind of guy. And that's how he was at CU. Not very patient, I mean, he's not the kind of guy that's going to ride it out all the way to the sideline. He's going to see that first one. He has that burst of speed, and he's going to hit that hole, quick. And I like that, You get some other backs that do try to ride it out, and they end up missing that initial hole, and the other one doesn't open up. And then you're sitting there saying, Why didn't he cut it back and take that hole that was there? So I really have no complaints with Lindsey's game. I think he's a staple in our offense. The only complaint I have is I don't think they use him enough, especially in the passing game. You know, get him out there in screens and bubble screens and things like that, and get him with the ball in his hands with some open field where he can make some moves and make some defenders miss. So Michael said, move on to QB is not the only issue we have on this team, and I agree 100%, Michael.
Yep.
And unfortunately, I think a lot of people get sucked into the QB role, but we got a lot of issues. I mean, and I think the biggest issue, and it doesn't matter who we put back there as the quarterback, we have to fix this offensive line.
Yep.
Drew Lock is not mature enough where he's going to sit back there, and be able to get rid of the ball on hot routes and things like that. Something I noticed Allen wasn't doing either on Sunday is, where was your hot route? Get the ball out of there. I mean, these guys the Bills defense was relentless, and I don't think it's going to be any different, with San Diego, or excuse me, sorry. I don't know if I'll ever get San Diego out of the Chargers this weekend. They got a good defensive front seven.
Yep.
The Chargers are a much more talented team than their record says. I mean, that's a talented team. I have no idea what's going on with the Chargers. I don't know if Phillip Rivers has just he's on a rapid decline or what.
I think so.
He's not having that type season. But I mean, it doesn't matter who we put back there, quarterback right now. We need to fix left tackle. Right tackle is, I mean, we pretty much got turnstiles on the ends,
Mm-hmm.
And like we said, Reisner is I think he's the foundation of the offensive line moving forward, but there's some pieces missing around him, and we got a lot of work to do on that offensive line.
We do.
And we've tried. We've gone out. We got a Juwan James, and I mean,
Band-Aid fixes, though. Band-Aid fixes, and you can't count on those to build an offensive line around. It's got to be with people like Dalton Reisner. Right. It also has got to include getting rid of Garrett Bowles.
Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, I was telling a friend of mine, if Garrett Bowles is on this roster next year, I will be thoroughly shocked,
Yep.
But you can't just get rid of the guy. You got to have somebody to put in there.
Yep.
So, I mean, Denver's in a tough situation. Even if we end up number 5 and we say we need a new quarterback, is that your most pressing need right there? Do you grab a quarterback at 5, or do we have to go after an offensive tackle up there? Because there's some good ones coming out. The guy from Georgia, I can't remember his name right off the top of my head, but he's a good left tackle, and he might be available at 5. They need to figure out over there what's our most pressing need. In my opinion, I think offensive line needs to be our number one thing. I tell you what, if they go defense on that first pick, I'm gonna lose my mind.
I think we all will.
So,
and Sterling says he feels like everyone's jumping the gun. Our team has been bad for years. It's going to take time to build a team for the coach's system. It's not going to happen overnight. And that's, I think a lot of Broncos country is, they're feeling down because this is, I know this is the third year we're not going to have a winning season. We're probably going to have a third losing season.
I mean,
yeah.
this
You had Peyton Manning for 4 years.
Is around, so we're spoiled.
Yep. And this is bringing us back down to earth. But what we also got to remember is, at least in my eyes, the last 2 years didn't count as a rebuilding phase. That put us even further behind, if you ask me, than after Gary Kubiak retired.
I agree.
So this is our first rebuilding year.
I agree 100%. You can't count what happened in the Vance Joseph era as rebuilding. So yeah, we're in the process now of year 1 of rebuilding, and we got a lot of holes to fill. We got young coaches. I like what Michael says here. Put Munchak as co-offensive coordinator and help him mentor Scangarella. Scangarella this is his first time ever calling plays. And, he gets into tough situations. Sometimes he may not know what to call. I mean, having someone like Munchak, to sit there who's done this, and say, hey, let's try this in this situation. I agree with Michael. I mean, I think there's some coaches that are young, but they can be trained. But I hope we don't end up firing Scangarella at the end of the year, because then that puts us back to square one.
A new offensive playbook.
Have a new coordinator come in, and we're going to be learning over again.
That's what we got to have, this continuity. And I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, but I think that the staff is going to stay intact for this year. After that, we're going to talk about it next year and see what happens. But yeah, other news this week, David, I got some questions about it. Brittany Bolin was the one who was just announced that she's going to take over one of the vice president roles of the Denver Broncos. And in my eyes, this isn't anything I read or official. In my eyes, this is setting her up to take ownership of the team in the next probably closer to 3 years, 2 to 3 years, or probably 3.
What I heard is she is going to be on an accelerated plan. I heard somebody actually call it the Billy Madison School of NFL ownership. So she's going to be run through the gauntlet very quickly. She is starting with as the VP of strategic situations, I believe is the title. Something to do with strategic, and she's going to be doing a lot of stadium stuff in her first VP role, and I think they're just going to transition her throughout. And I think that is the timeline, 2 to 3 years. Joe Ellis's contract, I think, is in 3 years. So
Don Elway's is too, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that may be the timeline to bring her in as owner. I did find out one interesting thing, though, is that Joe Ellis can renew his own contract.
Oh, of course he can. And that's what upsets me about all of this. It's that I lost my train of thought. No, you're good. There's no accountability on the team. And so when you have Joe Ellis, who isn't the owner, being able to, restructure his and just kind of approve his own contracts, you have zero accountability on across the team. And so what we're also seeing, we're seeing a team that is still suffering from several years of bad drafts up until two years ago, really. A team that has gone through quarterback changeover and coaching changeover, and we're weak on the player front. We're building, hopefully, but we're still weak on the coaching front. But now we have no accountability in the front office. And so across the board, in my opinion, we are literally starting from square one right now, and getting an owner in there is crucial. And I don't expect Brittany Bolin to take over and just make huge sweeping changes on day one. But if anything, it'll, get Joe Ellis out of there, at least not in the capacity that he's in right now. But then provide that, hey, we have to be, I'm going to hold you people accountable now, because what you've done over the last 4 or 5 years has not been good.
Right. And there is no accountability. And I think, I believe it was Michael, someone earlier I saw, they had a comment about we need an owner because we need accountability. There is zero accountability down there right now. A.D. Castle said, do you feel like Elway's job's on the line? Well, no, because there's no one there to hold him accountable. Joe Ellis isn't going to hold John Elway accountable. That's blatantly obvious at this point, If he was, any other GM in a normal organization would probably have been fired by now. The way things have progressed since Manning left, basically. This team has just taken a nosedive, and we've missed on quarterback after quarterback after quarterback, and we chased quarterbacks, and we did this, and we reached for players here, and we have a depth issue on this team right now.
Right.
A.D. Castle also said rebuilding, we only need a few players, left tackle, guard, and cornerback, and I disagree with that 100%. We do not have depth on this team. We are in a rebuilding mode. We have no depth on this team. Our wide receiver core is very thin. You know, our third string running back is Booker. Come on, you know. I mean, I think we're all shocked that the guy's even still on the roster. I mean, I know I was when the final roster came out, but so
Yeah.
I don't know.
And
80 Castle says, isn't Ellis the reason why we took Vance over Kyle? You know, I'm not 100% sure why Kyle Shanahan was not hired here. I don't know if it goes back to the relationship between Mike Shanahan and the Broncos and some of the bad blood that's gone on there. And,
yep.
and Kyle maybe just didn't want to get caught up in the middle of that or what. So, you know, but even if he is, there's no one there to hold, you know, Ellis accountable. I mean, Ellis is the CEO and president of the team right now. There's nobody above him that's going to say, "Hey, you're out of here because you know you're causing us issues." So,
yep. And so, can't remember who asked it. Somebody asked, "Is John Elway's job on the line?" My answer to that is, if this was his contract year, there'd be a lot of question marks. But it's not. And he's not going to get fired. The issue is going to be in 2 years after this when it is his contract year and how things have progressed since then. Now, in 2 years, and we're sitting here in 2 years and his contract's coming up soon, if things don't change, there's going to be a lot of questions. If Brittany Bolin hasn't taken over by that point, then yeah, he'll stick around. He'll get re-signed for another 2 to 3 years. But bottom line, is he going to get fired? No. They're not going to fire John Elway, especially since there's no owner right now.
No, and I just think when his contract's up, his contract probably will not be renewed. Or if he does want to stay involved with the organization, he'll be moved to a different position, maybe like president of football operations or something, and bring in a true GM like we need in this situation. So,
yep. So we'll see. I mean, a lot can happen in 2 years, and I agree that give Vic Fangio a couple years to build his team. Because everything you guys got to remember, I mean, yeah, we're starting from square one, from scratch for this whole rebuild, but Vic Fangio inherited Vance Joseph's team. So give him a few years to get better at being a head coach himself, develop the coaching staff around him, but build his own team. And in 2 years, we could be looking at a very solid Broncos team, in which case, John Elway will more than likely keep his contract. But I know there's a lot of call for people's heads right now. And again, it goes back to that, Broncos fans are very spoiled. And I mean, he had Peyton Manning for 4 years that got us to 2 Super Bowls and won one. I mean, yeah, of course we're going to be spoiled. But there's a lot of changeover in the future, if you ask me. But as long as we keep the coaching staff and allow them to build their team, then the changeover in the front office isn't going to be it's not going to have as big an impact as it would otherwise.
No, I agree, and I think another thing that we're going to see in this offseason is we're going to have to start rebuilding our defense too, because we got 4 starters, that are going to be unrestricted free agents next year. And I don't think we can afford to assign all 3 of them. You're going to have Chris Harris Jr., Justin Simmons, Derek Wolfe, and Shelby Harris. All those guys can walk next year, So we need to figure out who we're going to keep on the defense as well. I mean, hopefully we can lock up someone like Justin Simmons,
Oh, we have to.
Shelby Harris as well. But I mean, the most I see us affording out of those 4 players are 2 of them. You know, and unfortunately, the working against Wolf and Harris are their age, and the money they're going to demand. So
right. And Michael, our position here is don't change coaches. Give him at least 2 more years after this. But even then, we're so sick of seeing new coaches that I hope Fangio is here for another 5 to 10 years at least. I mean, this is what we need.
We need stability. We haven't had stability in a long time, as far as our coaching. And Joseph says, "Come on, guys, not true. Kubiak came in after John Fox and went to the Super Bowl, and that was a decent team that he inherited, and we had Peyton Manning as our
Right.
quarterback in a very
That's the
good
huge
defense.
argument I have for that.
Right.
And if you guys haven't watched our show before, first off, thanks for watching. But here at Orange Weekly and you're watching, we can disagree. That's perfectly fine. This is the no BS show. So if you don't agree with what we're saying, that's fine. We can. That's why we do this show, is so we can have these kinds of conversations. But yeah, Joseph,
everybody agrees.
Right. I know. Yeah. Otherwise, if we didn't care if you disagree or not, we just do pre-recorded shows and not talk to you guys at all.
Right.
That's why we don't do that. But yeah, Joseph, I mean, yeah, Kubiak came in here, but he inherited a team that went to the Super Bowl. And even then, there was 2 years displaced there between the end of Super Bowl 48, where John Fox left, and then getting to Super Bowl 50. But when you already inherit a team that was just at the Super Bowl, and then you have the best of all time quarterback in Peyton Manning, it's not hard to keep that going. But when you're Coach Fangio and you inherit a two seasons in a row of losing seasons and a team that is just in shambles, has no morale, completely undisciplined, you're not going to be able to turn that around in a year. So I'm sorry, Joseph. I disagree completely. This is a very, very, very different situation from Kubiak taking over from John Fox.
Oh, I agree. You know, the team had talent. Like you said, it had gone to a previous Super Bowl. He said, yeah, but there was player buy-in, and there was player buy-in. But Gary Kubiak is very respected in the NFL. Mm-hmm. He's been doing this a long time as both, you know, a player, as a backup to John Elway for numerous years, and then, you know, he's been a coach, a head coach, coordinator for a long, long time. He's earned that, where players are going to buy into him. Right now, is there any player buy-in on this team with this coaching staff? I don't know. You know, you hear mixed things coming out of the media sometimes that, you know, there's turmoil in the locker room.
That Lock and 4 article was bullcrap, if you ask me, but that's just my
opinion. I agree 100%. Yeah. You know, I don't think that was right for him to, even if it's true, don't come out and blast that like that, you know. I mean, I think that the players support Fangio. I know the defensive players do. You know, they like his scheme. We don't know everything that's going on behind the scenes. So
right, exactly. Hey guys, we're going to answer a couple more questions. Be here for a few more minutes, but really quickly, I want to remind you guys that Orange Weekly is here. We give you a ton of content throughout the week, and we try and do the best we can for you guys. So we got a pregame and a postgame podcast. The postgame podcast was just published a couple hours ago, and you can subscribe to that on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, whatever your favorite podcast listening service is. Don't forget, we have the Monday night show more often. Usually, we missed it last night because of unavailability, but Monday nights usually Orange Weekly After Dark, 9 p.m. Mountain Time. This Tuesday show, the flagship show, Bourbon, Broncos, no BS, every Tuesday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And then we got a pre-game show. We got a halftime show. David, I think eventually, maybe once or twice this year, but next year we're going to start incorporating a post-game show as well. And also, guys, one thing that we're trying to work on is finding a bar that'll let us set up and be able to call a game once a year. So you guys can tune in and watch that as we do a whole pre-game and, you know, call a game throughout the entirety for that as well. So we're trying to give you guys even more content and as good as we can. So appreciate you guys watching. Give us some feedback. Send us a message. Make sure you hit that like button on Facebook or YouTube and hit subscribe on the podcast channels there as well. Appreciate all you guys' support. You guys are fantastic. So I know there's a lot of questions here still. Let's see. But while we look through these, David, what are some thoughts that you have moving into this next week against the Chargers?
Well, one, I want to see our defense move back to where they had been. I don't know what happened in Buffalo. You know, I don't know if it was back-to-back early games that just, you know, threw them off or what. The defense needs to get back to where they were. You know, one, stopping the run. We can't let Melvin Gordon go and have a good game. We need to put pressure on Rivers. Rivers is not playing good this year. He's thrown, I think, 13 interceptions this year. So
won a game.
We can force him into some turnovers, you know, and the defense hopefully can put the offense in position to have some short fields, and get some scores, I also think, and I know I harp this all the time, we have to run the ball. When we rely on passing, that's when we get in trouble.
Yep.
So we need to establish the running game with Lindsey and with Freeman. Let's get that running game going. Our offensive line seems to block a little bit better when they're run blocking.
Oh yeah.
And we don't take the chance of 72 getting called, for holding calls as much when we're not dropping back as much,
Yeah.
That's I think the keys of the game. We need to establish the run, and we need to be able to stop them from running. Force Phillip Rivers to pass. And because I think he'll make bad decisions. And we need to run the ball and establish the ground game, and eat the clock up. And score. And when we get in the red zone, score touchdowns.
Yeah, we can't be selling for field goals.
Right. Field goals are killing us. I know it's making Brandon McManus look good, but we need 6 points instead of 3 when we get down into the red zone.
Yep, and taking advantage of the turnovers we do and hopefully will get. Dylan says 7 picks in the last 2 games for Rivers, but how many times have we had that rare interception, that rare fumble recovery, and then maybe we get a field goal for it? I think we're tied for last or the last in the league, near close to it, in terms of points scored off of turnovers. And it's embarrassing. We get that awesome advantage, and then nothing happens from it. And so, and Joseph, appreciate your support too, more so, man. Joseph says, we're the spoiler team now. Let's win and create positive momentum toward the end of the season. And that's what I'm looking for, David, is I want to see this team get some confidence. I want them to start playing at that higher level where next year it's like, hey, do you remember how they finished last year? They're playing damn good football at the end of last year. They started Drew Lock, whatever the storyline's going to be, and they started winning some games and making positive things happen. And that's what we need to carry forward into next year. That's what, even if we finish 5-11, okay, well, if we were winning some games and we were playing like a playoff caliber team, that's going to move forward to next year. And so, Joseph, I hope that we do become the spoiler. Especially in the last game of the season when we play the Raiders. I hope we really spoil their fun then too. But, that's going to be huge in terms of getting player buy-in, getting respect around the league, and just the confidence and morale that's going to build heading into the offseason.
And let's go to Houston, and let's go to Kansas City, and let's, even if we don't win there, let's play good games. Let's not go in there and get crushed.
Yep.
Go in there and be competitive, and those are the things that is going to start building that culture around here,
Yeah.
But one game at a time. We got to take one at a game. Let's focus on the Chargers. Let's get a win at home, and then maybe we can win all 3 home games. Detroit's not playing that great. The Raiders, I'm not sure of. They're so inconsistent.
Yeah.
And then I think we can beat the Chargers, So if we win 3 of our last 5 games, then that's a success.
Right. Compared to where we were, the hole we dug ourselves in was 0-4. Yeah.
And it's a double-edged sword because we know we have some draft needs.
Yeah.
And you want to stay up in that upper echelon of the draft as long as you don't blow the picks, but you win, you move back. So, you got to take it. So even if we win 3 games, 3 of our last 5 games and finish 6-10, I still think we get a decent draft pick, that we can use to get a solid player in here to make a difference on this team next year.
Yeah, agreed. And we'll talk more specifics in the draft as it gets closer, obviously, and closer to the end of the season. But what you guys got to remember is Lamar Jackson was the 32nd pick. Ravens had the last pick in the first round, and that's when they got Lamar Jackson. And look what he's doing now. So it could be one of those things. You get the number 1 overall like Johnny Manziel, and look what's happened to him. Now you got Lamar Jackson a couple years later, 32nd pick, and he's doing fantastic. It's really just all a gamble. And so if you're of the mindset that the Broncos need to lose out so that we stay in the top 5 of draft picks, I 100% disagree with you. 100%. Even more so, this club is not going to flail and fail on purpose just to get a higher draft pick. That's not how Broncos country
and
goes.
I don't think players do that.
No.
I don't think you find any team in the NFL, and people will always say, "Oh, that team's tanking it." These are professionals. They want to win. They have competitive desire. They're not going to go out there and lose games on purpose. And if you go out there and you start playing like that, that's when players get hurt because you're not playing at 100%. So if you're going to be one of those guys, that wants to just go out there and give it 75%, you should probably stay on the sideline.
We agree.
I mean, you need to go out there. You need to give it 100% so you don't get yourself hurt or one of your teammates hurt in the process.
Hey guys, we're gonna start wrapping it up really quickly. Michael, thanks for the compliment. Looks like we got another fan we hooked tonight, man. Michael says first time watching. Really appreciate you tuning in and watching throughout the show. Joseph, same to you. Alonzo, Dylan, Travis, all you guys. We had Red Cloud in here earlier. I can't name you all, but seriously, you guys, you viewers, you guys are the ones like why we do this. This is why we do this show. All of our shows, all of our podcasts. David, me, and the rest of the Orange Weekly staff. I mean, we talk Broncos football amongst ourselves all the time, but this is the fun part, is getting to interact with you guys, and that's why we're trying to add even more things, reasonably so, to provide more Broncos content for you guys. So again, if you have any ideas, anything you want us to add or not do again, whatever it may be, send us a message on Facebook. Love to talk to you guys there and hear what your ideas are. But that being said, David, I'll send some quick, short closing comments or ideas over to you.
All right. Well, yeah, I do appreciate it. Appreciate the compliments, everyone. We do this for you guys. It's fun. I love talking Broncos. Glad that Orange Weekly has asked me to step on and be a part of their team now. So I appreciate that. But yeah, give us anything that, constructive criticism, that's how we get better. That's how we make it better for all of us. And, if we disagree with you guys, don't take it personal, It's just, it's an opinion-based show, and that's the way we like it to be. It's like you said, Kevin, if we didn't want to interact with them, we'd just pre-record this and post it out there and not worry about what they think. But this is for you guys, the fans, we want to hear your thoughts on the Broncos, what they need to do and things like that. We don't have all the answers, So you guys may hear things that we don't, Joseph, I believe it was, did some good job of fact checking us on a few things earlier. So appreciate that. So, but again, I look for a Bronco win this weekend. I think they actually will end up beating the Chargers. I just think the Chargers are a team that's in a rapid decline, which is surprising because on paper that team is very talented, but there's some things going on over in that organization as well. So
yeah, well, this is our chance to go in and kind of get some solid momentum going for you or for the team as well. And I'm even now. It doesn't matter. Every week I'm hoping for a win. I know I haven't really picked them to win the last couple weeks, but again, we try to make this a no BS environment. We're gonna call it as we see it. We're gonna take off our orange sunglasses from time to time. Which Jared's not here tonight, so I gotta do his thing. Oh yeah, here we go. Just for you, Jared. We're gonna take the Broncos glasses off from time to time and call it exactly how we see it in the no BS fashion. So thanks a lot, guys. Stick around for more Broncos content. Again, go listen to our podcasts on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play. Go to our patreon.com, patreon.com/Orange Weekly if you want to donate. We're going to be doing a prize drawing for our donors here next week if you guys want to get in on that. But yeah, David, once again, thanks a lot.
Hey, thanks for having me, Kevin. It's truly been a blast doing this. I appreciate doing it. Look forward to doing more. Like Kevin said, I may be doing some post-game stuff, maybe even after the Chargers game this weekend. So if you guys have any ideas, shoot me a message on Facebook, David Slade, and just let me know what you'd like me to talk about on the post-game show. So
cool, guys. Well, you have a good rest of your night. Happy Thanksgiving. I didn't get the turkey picture up there on the streaming system. But still, happy Thanksgiving. Don't overeat, but enjoy that football on Thursday. And of course, get ready for some Broncos football on Sunday against the Chargers. 2:30 p.m. Mountain Time kickoff. David, go Broncos.
All right, go Broncos. Everybody have a happy Thanksgiving.